My name is Alejandra Reyes. I'm with the Trisha Turner Group and Realty of America. What inspired me to become a realtor actually was I needed to change careers after 12 years of being a teacher. And so I actually decided that I would transition into real estate. So I just kept thinking about the fact that whenever I bought my house 5 years ago, how it was a really good experience and how just the thought of homeownership was something that seemed not attainable for me. And when it became a reality, it was just amazing. And so I just love the fact that, you know, everybody can become a homeowner if they truly want to. So just being able to help people and support people and educating people in how they can attain that homeownership is really my biggest why. Everything I did as a teacher, I do now, except with like adults. You're trained to break down complicated concepts and such as, you know, how to purchase a house, how to apply for a mortgage. And so now it's just, instead of how to read a book, now we're doing, you know, these concepts that go with home ownership. You know, you have to be very good communicating at everything. I think I over communicate sometimes with my clients. And so in the end, they truly appreciate that. You want to make sure you find someone who you're truly comfortable with, somebody that you vibe with, like that's the thing. And like there's clients and some clients are not going to be your clients. So just, you know, establishing that relationship from the beginning and just, you know, getting to know each other and truly just seeing what their needs are and how you can serve them. Like I said, I over communicate. So I think that's my thing, is like, I'm gonna be, you know, we're gonna be best friends throughout this whole process. And even after, like I have a couple of clients that we still like talk and we're friends on Facebook. And one of them, I love her to death. And she's like, oh, when my husband makes carne asada, like we're gonna call you to come over. So just building those relationships past, you know, the closing table. So that's a big thing. My very first client was my sister, actually. She was coming out of a rough situation and I had just gotten licensed and we ended up finding her a house within the next couple weeks. Like I got licensed on the 14th of February last year, and the 26th she was under contract for her house. So she did a new construction build, and March 27th, I believe, will be her 1-year anniversary. So it was just very special to me because I was like, well, it's my sister. Like, how amazing is it that my very first client in my new career gets to be like my best friend? So that was for sure awesome. I think most first-time home buyers, what they don't realize about the process is how much easier it is than it seems. So a lot of times people are scared away by, oh, 20%. That's the big number that gets thrown around a lot. It's like you have to have 20%, and that's not the case. So lenders obviously have different programs, but right now you can qualify with as little as 3.5% with an FHA loan. And even with a conventional loan, that's the one where you typically hear the 20%, you can qualify with as little as 5%. So it's just a matter of, you know, having the conversations and just, you know, just learning about the process itself. Because what you only don't know what you don't know. Home to me is my safe space. It's, you know, my place where I can be myself, my place where I can work, where I can have family, where we can have get-togethers, where I can just be quiet and at peace. So to me, that's the big thing, is that everybody deserves to have their own place, you know, have their own space that they can call their own, and it can be their safe space. My ultimate goal when somebody chooses to work with me is that I want them to be happy in the process. So even there was a NAR settlement in September 2024, and it just stated, you know, you had to have a buyer's representation agreement signed before you can go show properties. So a lot of people think, you know, oh, I don't want to have to sign anything, or I don't want to agree to anything. And I feel like once I talk to them and explain the process, like I feel like I educate them in a way that they're like, oh yes, absolutely, where do I sign? So just, you know, having them feel comfortable enough with me to trust me. And so you really have to build that relationship and build that rapport fast, because if you meet somebody or you talk to somebody over the phone, they're not necessarily going to be like, oh yeah, let me sign for 6 months with you, you know? So just being able to set that, that tone of how this can potentially go is just very helpful. So if you're buying or selling, or even just thinking about it, give me a call.